Alrighty guys, Santani here, gonna bring you some Guild Wars 2 action across the 5 classes I currently have right now. There will probably only be 2 of the Necromancer videos, being I'll probably use my level 80 boost on him. He's getting him up to 15, I kind of remembered pretty much everything about him, so may as well just boost him up to 80 and be done with it. So we'll see the level 15 video and then a level 80 video of the Necromancer and my impressions on that. The other 4 I will probably take up to about 40 before I do another video on them, so it'll be a little time consuming on that. So let's go ahead and jump into the Necromancer right now. This is the first little area you go, and then this is where you see all the renown hearts. Oh, that was fast. All the renown hearts, all the hero challenges, they call it tasks in the map, all your waypoints, all the vistas, and all the points of interest. Pretty much found almost everything so far, which is nice because that'll unlock this little map completion thing. Okay, good, this is still a safe area. Go ahead and look at the weapon builds. Right now I am running more of a Condi situated Necromancer with this, so we're running Scepter and Dagger, and then my secondary is the Staff. You see all the AoEs here. Need to change that, that wasn't as nice as I thought it'd be. Let's go ahead and just grab another pet, why not? As you see, all these AoEs apply all these different conditions. This one will transfer conditions from yourself to the enemies when they trigger it. So it's kind of fun. Could use that with some of these skills in this tree, because most of these give yourself conditions. So you could just Condi yourself and then send them off to the enemies, especially being AoE, it could be really handy. This is your healing pet that you see. Let's actually go here. This is the healing pet. Every time he deals damage, it transfers health to you. Cripple pet, another condition, and immobilize when you activate it. And that one will blind on command. These are all your different wells that you get. Let's actually go here. This is the training menu. You've got Signet, you've got the Corruption, which is all your self Condi stuff. All your minions, pets, all the different wells it can do. Like that one will do vulnerability, that one will do blindness, that one will turn boons into conditions, so if they have buffs it'll turn them into debuffs. And this is mostly stuff to gain extra life force for your F1, your class mechanic, which I'll show you here in a minute. Gain life force as you take damage, protects allies and fierce foes. Gain life force when struck. You return to your... Personally, I'm not a fan of the spectral stuff, but at some point in time I'm sure we'll pick it up. So go ahead and get that flesh worm. And I got 2 more points to go somewhere. Let's just grab that to have it. Specializations get unlocked at level 21, so we're not quite there yet. The elites are level 80. Like the Reaper Elite allows you to get a great sword, and when I had my level 80, I did run Reaper. It was a lot of fun running around with the great sword as a mage, effectively. One nice thing with the Necromancer and his pets, much like the Ranger with his pet, doesn't go away. They just kind of hang out. I mean, they can die, they can pull aggro and take the damage, so always just keep an eye out on that, and then summon when you need to. Like this one, when you activate it, it sacrifices itself for an extra heal. That one will immobilize, and that one blinds, teleports and blinds to them. So let's go find some things. The F1, I'll show you up here. It's your class mechanic as you kill. Of course, people when they die, they have a life force, so you summon the life force, and then You can activate it to do all sorts of fun little new abilities. So technically between Death Shroud and your weapon slots, you have 10 different abilities to know with the Necromancer. And with the Scepter Dagger, oh, that was a terrible cast. We've got 2 AoEs set up with it. Got all sorts of fun little things, like that one will bleed across all 3 attacks, and then the last one will apply poison. This one applies more bleeding and cripple. This one will apply torment, much like with the Revenant. When they move, they take damage. And it'll add, if they have over 5 conditions, it'll apply additional stacks of torment. This one attacks or gives them blindness. Their next attack will miss, as you can read there, and it'll also hit multiple foes with it. Does this one hit multiple? Does not appear to be. That's AoE, so of course. So that'll hit multiple up to 3, and if you have conditions on you, it'll transfer up to 3 of them to the enemy also. And then that one is the other AoE with bleeding and weakness. And it also converts one of their buffs into a debuff. With 5 targets in the AoE, that one is also 5 targets in the AoE.
Kill my saint.
I mean, that's about it for the Necromancer, like, overview type things. Let's look at the staff real quick. Single thing there. Gain life force. Ranged attack. One kind of cool animation with the sight, or with the staff, is when you're attacking, you get that little shadow sight attachment to it, which little things like that are kind of cool. This one will give you bleeding and regeneration to all allies, chill and poison. That one is transfer conditions to the enemies. These are all 5 target AoEs. I think that's the max for AoE. And then fear. Usually, I mean, if you're being reals, if you're not using the smart cast for AoE, which means it automatically sets it underneath your current target. Super handy, honestly. Didn't know about that for the longest time until recently. Makes your life so much easier for casting AoEs. But I mean, if you're not using that, you can always set it kind of close to you where you're sitting in the back. That way, if you pull, especially in the dungeon runs, if you pull aggro by chance and they come after you, then they trigger that and they run away. Usually gives the tank enough time to re-pull aggro. Other fun things. The axe primary is really fun. Your first attack will apply vulnerability. You can take more damage. This one attacks quite a few times, 8 times. And if they have vulnerability stacks, it does additional damage per stack. And that's cripple, and converts their buffs into debuffs. And if they're below the 25% health threshold, it'll also do an unholy burst, little AoE burst damage. Dagger primary, kind of fun. It'd work well if you're kind of running with some rogues, because this one will steals health, and the effectiveness is increased if you're bleeding, which is nice, being as the third one inflicts bleeding on yourself and makes them immobile. So that'll increase the health there, and if they have bleed damage on them, damage is also increased. Dagger offhand is what I'm using with my scepter, so great sword. I mean, nothing really super amazing as far as Condi goes. I mean, you got blindness, cripple, chill, and vulnerability. Recharges faster if it hits a down or low health foe. It's just kind of fun to be up melee, because primary dagger is melee, dagger offhand is ranged, Staff is ranged, axe main hand is ranged, scepter is ranged. Focus can be fun. It gives you regeneration plus vulnerability, and then chilled there does more damage depending on how many buffs you take off of them. It'll also remove their buffs. Warhorn, kind of fun. That'll daze, and that gives you swiftness and a little bit of damage in the surrounding area of you, and it also cripples them. These are your aquatic weapons. I haven't done much in aquatic up here, being as there's not a whole lot of water. Maybe over there I could check that stuff out, but from what I remember with that, if I remember correctly, also, once I remember to hit the right button, okay, yeah, they can have two different aquatic weapons, so you can have both of them socketed and switch them around as you need to. Stab, vulnerability, gives you swiftness, cripples them, applies bleeding, weakness, poison, make them sink, and chilled and vulnerability. So if you're going Condi like I am, Trident is probably going to be your primary aquatic weapon. These are your different down skills. When you lose your health, you don't just die, you go into a down state, which allows you access to these. And if you can kill an enemy with it, it brings you back up. Not to full health, you start with less health the more times you are downed. And these are the aquatic down skills, so fear and poison. Fear would be nice for being down. Poison, fear. And if for some reason you are dropped from like poison, bleed, torment, just your standard dots, damage over time, and there's no enemies around, you can just hit bandage and it'll restore your health when you channel it, so you can get back up that way. Takes a long time to do that by yourself. These are the training things that I showed you. Impressions on the Necromancer, like I said in the overview, it's probably my favorite class. Love pet classes across all sorts of MMOs. Speaking of which, we'll show you what the Vistas look like. How I was telling you, it's kind of cinematographic. Still swear I was saying that wrong. It just sounds so terrible. But we'll revive this friend really fast. Apparently we'll have to revive another friend because they just jumped off the tower from the Vista. Heal these guys up. Always pays out to heal people, revive people, being as it gives you experience to revive. I mean, nothing major, but hey, a little extra experience never hurt anybody. Yeah, the Vistas up top on this one. This one, most of the Vistas are usually revolve around little jumping puzzles. Some of them are more complicated than others. With Heart of the Thorns expansion, you get the glider, which can make your life so much easier for some of the jump puzzles. Yeah, you come up here, hit the view, and you get a little cutscene. I guess that's a much easier word to use. A little cutscene of the surrounding area, kind of what it looks like. Little simple things like that I enjoy, because, I mean, yeah, you can see everything, but it's nice to be like, oh, okay. Sometimes you can see paths you didn't see before down on the ground. So like everyone else, we'll just glide. We'll just glide right on down. Clearly they're not English speakers. Yeah. Anyways, back on track. Impressions Necromancer. Really good Condi build. Can also do really good with a power build. Those are going to be your two typical things you want to look for: is condition damage and power. Probably ferocity throughout the time. I'm trying to remember exactly what ferocity does. It's been so long. Precision is crit, chance. Ferocity is crit damage. So why is there two things that Okay, that's the critical chance itself. Okay. Condition damage. I mean, from everything I see, it would be really hard for a Necromancer. I know I said that pretty much any class can fill any role. Healer is probably one of those out of the question ones for Necromancer. They don't really have any healing skills unless you go with some of your wells. Then yet again, you'd be like more of an off healer with the more support stance. Typically, they sit in a DPS role. Normally, for dungeon runs, I take off all my pets and run a lot more signets and wells just to fill a more of a support DPS role. But that's me personally. Everyone can play any class however they want. One nice thing I love about Guild Wars 2. Yeah, even with the well, I mean, that one to heal allies, uh, damages foes and increase vulnerability, blinds them. Even then, it'd be really hard to fill like a hard support role. Necromancer is going to be a hard DPS role. You could try to tank with it, but you have to make sure you're getting a lot of life force and keep toggling this on and off. Because instead of taking damage to your health when you're in Death Shroud, you take damage to the life force. Like I said, with Necromancer, if you're low on health, you can hit Death Shroud and save yourself, buy yourself some time, especially in dungeons. You can buy yourself some time to get healed. Because the damage you're taking isn't affecting your health, it's a lot easier to heal a Death Shrouded Necromancer back up, because the amount of life force they have should buy you enough time to heal them back up. The nice thing with gaining the life force, where it says nearby deaths, you don't have to be the one dealing the final blows. If there's a lot of people in your area killing a lot of things, trying to complete the Renown Hearts, then you're gaining life force from all those too. So. But pretty much think that's about it. Wonder how many more times I'm going to say that. More than likely, I'll use my level 80 boost on him, because, like I said at the beginning, everything feels very familiar for him, so I spent a lot of time with my original Necro, so go ahead and boost him up to level 80 and start grinding for some gear and whatnot, all of that. The looking for group thing is kind of interesting. I didn't touch on this in the first video. You can look for a group for just open world stuff, for going to do achievements, for your story stuff, mentoring, PvP of course, World v World, raids. This is just for the expansion. As you see there, it says Heart of Thorns required. Fractals are your level 80 dungeons. They go in different scales. And your standard dungeons, and honestly for dungeon content there isn't a whole lot. There are definitely a lot more in other games, and then you can just look for a straight up freaking roleplay group if you're into all that. How many raids are there? Oh! So it doesn't show separate raids. Oh, you can't select that. Yeah, this one, you get a story, the story version of all the dungeons come with their own unique story, and then you can actually go into it by yourself and just explore the area, find all the little nooks and crannies, and kill all the things by yourself, or try to. I'm sure some of those are a lot easier said than done. Yeah, you can do my story, the Heart of Thorn story, or the Living World story, mentoring, adventures, guild. PvP, you can do ranked, unranked, tournament, looking for group, squad, and party play for World v World. Don't really know what that all means because I haven't delved into it myself. Then you can look for just certain areas where you are. The world bosses that'll spawn. All sorts of crazy stuff. I really haven't spent much time looking through all these options myself. Achievement Hunter Central. So yeah, I mean, impressions of Necromancer, favorite class. God, I'm repeating myself again. Favorite class, really good for Condi and power builds. Typically you'll want to use your upgrades, as you see there, unused upgrade slot for things like, for armor, maybe you'd want to go more with vitality for health and whatnot, or just go strictly glass cannon and just go with all the power and condition damage you can get your hands on. Concentration and expertise, being as that increases your condition duration. So yeah, you want Condi damage, expertise, power. Agony resistance, I think, is a PvP set. I don't see that much in PvE. Another nice things that I forgot to mention is all of your karma points and all of your coins are shared across all your characters, so there's no need to constantly be trying to transfer money back and forth, etc., etc. All your karma points are stored, and that includes if you delete characters, it's like account bound, I guess would be the best way to put it. And same thing with this magic find. So when you find luck points, when you're salvaging things, or sometimes you get them as crest rewards, it benefits all of your characters. And then, yeah, that's about it on Necromancer. Great pet class. Condition damage, power, focused, expertise for the duration of your conditions. And personally, I don't know how it does in PvP, I just know what I've seen. It does pretty well in PvP. Normally you don't see a lot of their pets in PvP either, much like how I run in the dungeons. But yeah, that is level 15 Necromancer. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and finally use my level 80 boost I've been holding on to for... When did Heart of Thrones come out? It's been a while, so probably going to use it on him. Because like I said, everything feels similar to what I remembered from the last time I played, so I'm not really too worried about having to relearn this class. And yeah, gonna go record the rest of the classes. That way I can upload them throughout the week. So it'll look like I wore the same shirt all week long. See you guys.